worked them all day yesterday. Unbelievable.
I'd like to call this January 13th regular council meeting and work session to order. And let's remember all those in LA who's fighting this fire and that lost a life. And let's remember all of those in New Orleans, that tragedy that happened there. And also all the people that passed away during the month in town. Please salute the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dylan, want to do roll call, please?
Mr. Pezza, Ms. Cullen,
Here.
Ms. Rodriguez,
Here.
Mr. Cousins,
Here.
Ms. Figueroa,
Here.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. Catroci, present, Mr. Di Giuseppe.
Here. Okay, before we get into public participation, I turn the meeting over to the mayor, who has a few comments and wants to swear in our new.
Okay, let's start with bringing up our new emergency management coordinator.
Here.
Up right here.
I have it. Oh. It's okay, because his family's got to come on it too, in a little bit. Get pictures.
You want your family to hold the Bible for you?
Yeah.
Why don't you come up and hold the Bible for me?
Ronnie, come up, Ron.
Yep. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
State your name.
I knew he was going to do that. We had this discussion beforehand.
A.J. DeAngelis,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and the Constitution of this Commonwealth,
and that I will discharge the duties of my office
and I will discharge the duties of my office
with fidelity as the Emergency Management Coordinator for the Borough of Bristol.
with fidelity
As
as
the,
the Emergency Management Coordinator for Bristol Borough.
you are sworn in. Congratulations. Would you like to say a few words? Karen, would you like to say a few words?
Oh, I just wanted to thank Merle Winslow for this recommendation. He's unable to make it tonight, and I hope that I could do as good a job as he's done over the last 20 plus years.
It's a big shoes to fill. Here they are.
And I just want to say, we've thanked Merle a million times up here, and we're forever grateful for the time he served as the emergency management coordinator. But I have the utmost faith in you're going to, take it to a new level, and we all appreciate everything you've already done for the borough. You were on top of the snowstorm already, so we already got you in a little active duty, and we know you're going to do a great job in the future. So thank you.
Get up there. You don't have to be dressed. Where you go?
That's what he's on
Elevator. Yeah. So just hang in there for 1 second. I want to do it this way too. One more. Good one. Thank you.
So I know we swore in our new emergency management coordinator, but I just think it, be prudent of us to recognize his dad, who was Merle's assistant, and and it's going to be, AJ's assistant. I mean, Ronnie, we appreciate everything you do as well. And I don't think people realize the time you put into this borough. So thank you for all you do for the community.
Lafayette Street in the house. Okay, public participation. Anybody on this side of the room would like to speak on anything, go to the podium and state your name and address. Anybody on this side of the room?
Tim Sorman, Suermann, 254 Madison Street. Wanted to bring up a few things more along the lines of public safety with vehicles and speeding and whatnot in the borough that's starting to become a bit more concerning than it's been previously. The first, I know I sent you pictures on it, Ralph, is some of the stop lines, limiter lines in the street. You'll notice throughout the borough, and I noticed in East Ward, there's a few streets where, if anybody's not familiar with the limiter or the limit sign is, it's supposed to be before a crosswalk, where a stop sign is supposed to be present next to it. I am on Madison Street as you're approaching Wilson. The stop sign is after the crosswalk, as well as the limiter line too. And there's a few of them as well that I've noticed throughout the borough. What's happening is if I'm walking my dog, I see people walking, the cars pull up, and we all know that they're not doing 25 in most of the streets, and the officers do a phenomenal job as they can, but they can't be everywhere, right? So the people are pulling up and they're flying up and they're not stopping sometimes, but they're pulling up to the limiter strip, which is after the crosswalk. So there's been many times where I've had to pull back pretty quick. And it's becoming concerning a little bit too more, especially as we're starting to get a lot more traffic coming through the borough, any more people coming into the borough, want to see the borough. It's wanted to bring that concern up too. So if that could be something that'd be addressed, I would greatly appreciate it.
So just so you know, when you talk to me, I talk to the manager, I talk to the police chief and the mayor. Our borough engineers are looking into everything we discussed to come up with a solution. And we understand we have to straighten some things out. Even on Trenton Avenue, the crosswalks aren't where the cutouts are. So we have they're looking, am I correct, Amanda? They're looking at a whole new revamp and everything, so it's part of.
We were out there together for the holidays to
Right.
look at some of those intersections
Yeah.
because we're completely aware of what you're talking about, and they're working on changing some of the stop sign locations or the crosswalk locations to make it safer for the residents that can cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're definitely on top of that.
And I didn't have an answer to get back to you yet, that's why I didn't.
Okay.
We're
No
on
problem. I
top
just
of
wanted to make sure, I know a lot goes on, right?
Yeah.
Some things get pushed back agenda-wise, but public safety, I think that's big. The second one is, and I couldn't find anything on our website, and I looked around too, it's houses that have vehicles, I'm sorry, houses that have driveways. People park in their driveways, that's great, but there comes a time where some people will park and they'll actually block the whole sidewalk. I don't know if that's an ordinance violation in the borough, if they're allowed to block the sidewalk, but I see multiple times where I've had to see parents pushing their strollers, people walking. I've had to walk my dog into the street to get around it, and sometimes you can't. I saw a handicapped woman a couple blocks down around a little past Monroe. She couldn't get past it at all. She had to turn her wheelchair around, go back to the end of the block and around because the vehicle was blocking it. And look, I get it if somebody's dropping something off, but there's times where they're parked overnight. And they're completely blocking the sidewalk, sometimes 3 or 4 in the afternoon on. So I didn't know if that was
It's
an ordinance violation.
definitely
Violation.
a violation.
Okay,
The chief's already writing.
People get tickets for that, they do. Yes.
Okay.
But that's also a perfect time to call the non-emergency number and report it, so somebody doesn't go all night without being ticketed or
and some people might not
being
know about
addressed.
it, right?
I mean, especially when it's an issue for people walking with strollers and everything, kids on their bicycles. So
Sure.
we definitely want to be aware of that.
Yeah, and it's happened on my street too, where kids have been driving the street and with their bikes. Another one too, and I noticed it's been addressed time over again, but the speeding on Wilson, it's ridiculous. I mean, the people come off of Pond Street, all right, you live right there.
It's
We've
true.
seen it. And you and I were stood out there a couple of times and we've seen cars
I agree.
below the stop sign right at Madison.
Absolutely.
And they're not doing 25 miles an hour coming down there. They're hitting sometimes 40 miles an hour. They have to be. I don't know what the solution is, But I know once that facility, I'm not sure when it's gonna open, when it is, there's gonna be a lot more traffic there too. I don't know if anybody's recommended it or not, but I've gone through some boroughs in Jersey, and they do a nice job with those speed humps. I don't know if that's a solution or not, slowing people down.
Can we have that in Pennsylvania?
Yeah, speed humps, yeah, there's still some municipalities that have them. But I would think maybe 2 speed humps on Wilson between maybe Pond and West Circle might get the attention of slowing some people down.
The problem with speed bumps, they have to be a certain dimension now, so a fire truck doesn't, it can roll up, go across, and then come, they're getting massive. And if somebody hits them and veers off, the borough's gonna get sued. So I think the police department could put out some details and handle this a lot better than speed bumps.
Okay, well, it's, again, a recommendation, I don't know what it would take to slow them
Everybody
down.
wants them, they want them on Pond, they want them
Yeah.
on side streets, so.
So everybody's concerned, right?
Yeah.
It's, and especially as we're approaching spring, a couple months, it's gonna be
Yeah.
a couple months away. So hopefully something will come of that. I see the blinking stop signs, sometimes they're grossly ignored right near your office, right? I don't know if we can look at getting one maybe put in at Wilson, because there's no stop sign at West Circle. When people are coming off, they're usually rolling through, and they might lightly brake at Wilson, but I've seen, or at Madison, but I've seen people, and I do apologize for anybody listening, that's where I live, so that's where it's more of a concern, and I spend most of my time walking back and forth there. So people sometimes don't even stop, especially in the morning too, school. I'll see them roll through that stop sign, make a left, go down the track, and make another right, not even stopping, whether the kids are going to school. More times than not, it's parents. More times than not, I see it's parents other than kids that are rolling stop signs.
Can I say something about the humps in the road? My daughter lives in Florence, New Jersey. They have them,
Yeah.
and they're everywhere.
Yeah.
They're almost every stop sign. I know it now, and I'm fine with it. They also didn't do them real big. They're not
No, so the
like
difference between a
like
bump and a hump is elongated. It's
they're
longer.
not like they used to be. So maybe
Right.
something like that would be better to look at. I don't know.
I don't know.
I just
I'm not in favor of it.
I know. Be a blight at some point, but
I mean, I could see that the fire guys right here
what you
saying
think?
no.
No, guys, fire people.
well, I'm talking about like Wilson where it's real wide and open in front.
All right, well, something will, you
Yeah.
know.
I like them.
Just-
And we
I'm
have,
just-
been hearing it, and I've been here 22 years. We've been hearing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But even like on any streets that are PennDOT streets, we can't, like,
Right.
it just, ties our hands.
Yeah, I suggested something we could.
Yeah, that's
maybe
fine.
it brings awareness to the solution. Again, blinking stop sign maybe at Wilson and Madison, right? The only reason I'm thinking there, I'm sure some neighbors might not like it, but maybe it brings awareness to people that are coming off. Because if you can imagine coming off of Pond, coming around where West Circle is, I know it's a good block, but some people might not see it. They see the blinking stop sign, maybe they're aware. Maybe they're a little more aware of that stop sign there, and it slows them down for the rest of the stop
Right.
signs. I see people stopping more and more at Monroe and Farragut now that that one sign's in there too, the one blinking stop sign. So, baseball fields, I see them in there. So hopefully if traffic studies are showing they're stopping, maybe we can consider putting 1 or 2 of them somewhere
All right.
else too. Vehicles parked, this was Christmas parade, I had a neighbor say, because one of the fire trucks, I believe, couldn't get down Madison Street because he couldn't make the angle because there was a van parked as you come onto Madison Street. It's usually parked there. I know his guys always park in the yellow. I don't know whose it is, but Madison's probably one of the smallest, thinnest streets in the borough. And it's very difficult, even I have getting my pickup truck down the street sometimes, or even my wife's Jeep, because vehicles are parked so close to the corner on both sides. And I don't think the yellow strip near the fire hydrant at the end of the street on the right-hand side, I don't think the yellow no parking strip is that long to where people actually might park from here to that gate, not even that far from it, and it makes it difficult to turn onto that corner at times. Again, that's more public safety than anything. UPS truck driver had to drop something off to me right before Christmas for work. He had to park on the other end on Wilson, walk it up to my street. Wasn't happy, it was still his job. He couldn't get his truck down the street because he couldn't turn the corner. So I don't know if that's something potentially can be looked at. And then I know we did a study recently, I was talking to Joe about it, Chief Moore, and there was a study done at the Veterans Island, because it's very staggering, the stop signs that are there. The one at Monroe, heading from Green towards Mill, I've seen drastic improvement in people stopping at that stop sign, not the one that's actually at the Memorial, heading from Mill towards Green Lane. I don't know how many times I've had to jump back and people just fly up to that and roll right through it. I know there was a traffic study that was done probably about a year or so ago when they had the cones out and the pylons to see about what can be done, but you know, it's just for people walking through there in the high traffic area. I don't know what the results of that study were done. I didn't see them posted anywhere. You know, I'd like to find out if it's something that's being looked at, something that we can extend a stop sign.
So it wasn't really like a study, it was more of a test to see if we brought the stop sign out to Monroe more, if it would help. But it is literally probably the ugliest intersection in Bucks County with it's a five-way intersection.
There's 5 points.
Yeah, so we looked at it, Gilmore was involved, and there really is no good solution there. And since it's been this way historically forever and a day, we decided it was best to leave it the way it is to try and reinvent the wheel. But yeah, we completely understand. The chief and I talk all the time, stop signs in town, people roll right through them in certain spots. That's another area that we could address is that side of the street. Like you said, Monroe, that one has been better. It's not great. I still see people like just miss the stop sign altogether. But we're definitely, you know, talking about where we have some problem areas. So we're always glad when you bring this stuff to our attention so that we can maybe put a flashing stop sign in or something to try and alleviate the issue.
Yeah, and that might be somewhere, I know you don't like it, but maybe that's a place for the hump too. I don't know, right? It's just to slow people down. I was talking to a neighbor that lives right on the street, and she said, and I've seen it too, it's mostly, you're not putting blame on it, but it's a lot of people from New Jersey that cut through, that literally fly right through. I mean, Radcliffe, Jesus, you might as well just put the Daytona Speedway right down there because I see Jersey plates out flying through.
Here's what it comes down to. When you go through Yardley, do you go over 25 miles an hour? No,
No.
because you know you're gonna get stopped. So the police start citing people and giving people tickets, it's gonna stop real quick. That's the easiest way to handle things. I mean, we could talk about this for the next 2 hours.
Right.
There, you know, we know the problems. We tried everything at Farragut Avenue. Remember, we had the cones out there and the whatever they put up to try to direct traffic different ways. So Amanda and Kurt are doing a study. They're going to present something to us, hopefully February, March, and we're going to proceed. And we have a lot of things happening, but we need engineers to tell us you can do this and you can't. And our solicitors say this is legal, this is illegal. You can't just put a blinking stop sign anywhere you want. I mean, you got to have permission to do these things there's a lot involved.
Right, understood.
It comes
But if
down
nobody brings it
to,
up, then maybe it doesn't get done. That's why I wanted to make sure
No,
it's brought up.
when you called me, as soon as I hang up with you, I call the manager. Jim, I got a call, put this on my schedule so I could discuss this. We talked to the engineers, talked to the chief, the mayor. This is the complaint I got. The people are crossing, the crosswalk's in the wrong. So everything's well noted. I don't disregard anybody that calls me for anything.
Also,
Nobody does. I mean,
also, Joe Moores is aware, and we've talked about this, about the speeding, and we want to be known as Yardley for that reason. You know, like, people do not go over 25
And
in
look, I don't think
Bristol.
it's most of the borough
And they're
residents.
working hard to make
I
this.
really don't. It's not really most of the borough residents. It's a lot of Jersey
Yeah.
tags that I see.
Well, they're
there.
getting ticketed,
Yeah,
right, Joe?
yes.
So, you know, we're on that. It's gonna take a little while for it to, you know.
And they're doing a phenomenal job, the officers. I see them out and about, but like I said,
No,
they
I
can't be
know.
everywhere.
I know you didn't say anything to us, but
Yeah.
I want you to know that that's one of the major things we talked about when he came in, so.
good?
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else on this side? Okay, that ends public participation. Lorraine, what do you have? Let me go to the mayor. What do you have, Ralph?
I just have two things, well, a couple things actually. So one, I just want to make a clarification on the agenda this evening. You see that we are grateful to receive over $1 million in grant money, and one of the items is for security cameras and license plate recognition system. Just want to clarify to the public, this is not to be ticketing. It's not a license plate recognition system for ticketing purposes. It's for investigative purposes within the police department. If we have to identify a car or something of that nature. So I don't want to start to stir or have people starting to stir that we're going to be starting issuing tickets via license plate camera system. We received $113,000 from the RDA in addition to $500,000 for streetlight improvements, a police vehicle in the department, the rescue squad's getting an ambulance, and some other public works pickup truck. So we got over $1 million in RDA money, which is a credit again to this council and the people of leadership that are working together with other elected officials and our county government in securing money for this borough that just ultimately benefits the residents. So I just wanted to make that a point of emphasis. I also want to talk about the fact that we finally finished the renovations in the police department. All new carpeting throughout, the entire place has been painted. I was through there a few weeks ago. It looks absolutely beautiful and just makes it a really good, welcoming place for our officers to come to work every day. So I just love the way that turned out. I also want to mention the fact that I met with Lisa up here in the borough department, and I talked to the chief, council president, even the manager. We're looking at revamping our policy for events in town. We put a lot of resources into what takes place for a borough event, borough workers, the street highway crew, the police chief, other officers in attendance. And we're going to come up with a policy that I'm going to present to council, hopefully for approval, and it's going to include fees and different things. One, to recoup some of our resources, but most importantly, to make it a safer event, a more secure event. We have safe and secure events. Thank God we have not had any incidents at any of our events, but we want to make sure we stay proactive, especially when you see like the tragedies that happen in New Orleans. The chief and I always debrief after every event. We talk about it. Have we had any incidents? Did we make any recommendations? So all last year we were back and forth and compiling a list. So we're going to sit down and go over that a little bit more, especially with our new emergency management coordinator, to make sure everybody's on the same page for events that are taking place. We have some of the biggest events in Bucks County right here in Bristol Borough. Between the Sunday strolls, the cultural days, the doo-wop, we need to make sure we're proactive in protecting those that attend, especially the residents, the vendors, everyone that's involved with that event. So we're going to be coming to this council with some recommendations next month on what we can do to make the events even safer, and also at the same time maybe recoup some of our services that we're putting out. And that's all I have.
You want to go first?
Sure.
Go ahead.
First of all, I'd like to send my condolences to the family of Joanne Bly. Her son, Jason, and her daughter, Stacy, lost two uncles and their mother within 6 months. It's very sad, and if you see them, ask them if they need help or whatever. But it's very sad, and she was a friend to this council, so we're really sorry, all of us. And then also Gary Bennett, who's also a friend to us too, lost his mother as well. I also want to talk about the freight line, the box cars that the people on Trenton Avenue and the surrounding area are affected by. It's happening every night between 12 and 7 a.m. They're banging cars. They're leaving them idling, and people are awake, and we're getting plenty of calls. And what we would like is anybody that's affected by this noise and the shaking of your home, please send an email to jdillon@bristolborough.com, because we want to have your email address so that we can keep you abreast of what we're doing as a council. And Brian Fitzpatrick has been involved, and we want you to know what's going on. So, and we're also going to do another thing. We're going to approve something tonight that will begin the help of the people in the area. So they used to do this all in Marsville. And why they're bothering us, and in an area that has tons of train tracks. There was no problem there. Why they are doing this here on 3 different tracks all night long, we can't figure it out. And we talked to the top guy and down to the, somebody that's just, mediocre, whatever. But it's very upsetting, and I feel sorry for the people that live in that area. I'd also like to talk about Bridget Cullen. She retired from working with the police. She was here for almost 20 years. She's my sister-in-law, I know you know that, but she was a great worker, and she was here before I came, so it wasn't any favoritism or whatever, nepotism. So I just want to thank her for all that she did here. And that's it.
Nadia.
I actually don't have anything other than I want to wish everyone a Happy New Year. And I will be working on doing a cleanup again for this year. So I will keep everyone updated as to when I figure out the day and time and all of that, but that's it.
I just want to make the residents aware that the train station now requires a parking fee. And I didn't know it. I pulled my car in and went into the city, and when I came back a few hours later, there's a $10 ticket on my windshield, and it said, it was a septic ticket. It said go online to find out what the violation was for. When you go into their website, you can't really see anything. They just tell you about how to appeal and how to pay the tickets. They don't tell you what the violation is. So I went back over to the train station the next day, and the driveway I went into had nothing on it. The main driveway has a big sign that says parking for septic, the train station only. And if you park there and you're not using the train, your car could be towed at the owner's expense. Then I looked at the stairs, the new stairs they built. On the side of those stairs were 2 signs about the size of our do not enter signs. And it says that there's a parking fee involved, and you can pay by the kiosk or online or something else, and it's a $2 fee. The only other sign was when you pull into the parking lot on Washington Street, there's a sign there opposite from the way that you pull in. So there's really no signage saying that the payment's required. And I really don't think that's fair to the residents or people that are, that are parking there. If they want to have a parking fee, that's fine, but the signage is horrible. And they've been up here a couple times when they did this planning, and they spent more time talking about where they're going to put the bicycle stands than where the signage was going. Matter of fact, they didn't even mention, they said some of the lots were going to require parking fees, but they weren't sure, when they presented this case to us, they weren't sure where the lots would be. But in any event, rather than paying a $10 ticket, you're better off paying the $2 fee. And so I just want to let you know that you have to look for the sign, but they're there and not in very good spots. So.
Louis, is that 24/7?
It's weekdays. I don't know if it's 24 hours, but the weekends are free.
Okay. Because people park there to take their wedding pictures across the street.
Yeah,
That's why. Okay.
Okay.
I was just stunned when I saw a ticket on my car, because I'm figuring, what did I do? Did I park too close to the line, or did I park in a handicap? I didn't think there were handicap spots. And I parked right near where the steps are, and you're looking at the steps, you can't see these signs, the signs are on the side, so I think they should be aware. I paid my fine, but I also wrote a letter and sent pictures to the customer service department of septic. And I suggested they put new signage up, and they shouldn't ticket cars until they get signage to make people aware that there is a parking fee required. I haven't heard back from them, but we'll see what happens. That's all I have.
Lee?
Yes. So, first of all, with a heavy heart, I'm thinking about Mrs. Grizzly and, her passing, and just want to let Jason and Stacy know that I'm thinking about them. I'm praying for them and their family. I wish them well as they navigate through this very difficult time. Number two, the flow of traffic. So it's been mentioned, about the stop signs and people, racing through streets and things of that nature. We're very much aware as council of this situation, and it's been heavily looked at. It's being heavily looked at. So I want to make sure and ensure that the residents know in town that we are very much aware of the attention that the town is getting, and people are very eager to want to see all the wonderful things that Bristol Borough has to offer, which is a great problem to have. Having said that, there's some adjustments that we know we need to make in terms of making the flow through traffic safe for residents and things of that nature. So, and anybody that's traveling through town. So just please rest assured that we are really taking a good look at flow traffic in town. Areas of town that are being impacted. I know I'm on our street. I'm on Maple, so I come out on our, I see it all the time. I've spoken to the chief as well about the flow of traffic coming through there, people going through stop signs and that kind of thing. So we're very much as a council aware of that, and please just know that we have the best interest of you at heart. It's going to take some time, but we're very much aware of it, and we're on top of it, and things will definitely receive improvement in that area. So that's all I have.
Thank you. And congratulations on starting your second year as a councilman. You've come a long way. Come a long way, buddy. You're gonna be a good councilman. I want you to know that.
He already is.
You already, yes, you are, but you're gonna be very good.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And
I appreciate you. Betty, what do you have?
I just want to reiterate what Lorraine and Mr. Cousins were saying about the Grigolia family, the Bly family. These are people that have been residents of the borough for many, many, many years. We have a statue or a stone back here from when their father had passed away, being one of our firefighters. And I just want to send my condolences, especially to Stacy and Jason. These are Westward residents, and it's hard to see a family lose such a strong woman who just held in there after her husband had passed away. So my condolences to this family. I also want to reiterate what Lee was saying. Springtime is coming. We're aware of what happens when springtime comes. The traffic gets a little crazy. I agree with you, sir. We got to get ready, and we got to buckle down, because people, with the bridge being closed out here on Ratcliffe and people coming from all over and flying through town, we need to really stay on top of this, because I know how important it is for the safety of the residents and the safety of our children. So, if you see something like someone's parking on the sidewalk all night, call the cops. They'll be able to come out and cite them. Maybe that'll deter them. If they're parking in front of a fire hydrant, call the cops. If they're parking on the corner where the cars can't get through, call the cops, call the non-emergency number so that we're aware of it and we can do something to control it. But we definitely will be on top of what's coming, the traffic, especially like every morning I take my grandson to St. Mark's, I see our chief out there, I see our cops out there when he's not there. They're all over by Warren Snyder. We are doing our best to protect the residents and the children of this town, and we will continue. And that's all I have.
Okay. Just, I know we talked about Joanne a lot, but I go back to when she started dating her husband. And Ronnie, we grew up on the same street with Phil. So we go back a long time and talked to her a lot of times about we had something in common, which was General Hospital.
She loved it.
Even Paul Goslin likes General Hospital. So we had, it must be the era when everybody talked about it. But she talked to my wife a couple days before her and her kids went to a show, some illusion. And she texted Monica and said, your granddaughter would love this. And it is a shock, and she is going to be missed. But we had, like I said, we talked a lot about General Hospital. So
I'm going to miss that too. I'm going to miss that too.
okay, Jim, you have anything?
What do you think?
Nothing? Okay, so we'll go into our regular council meeting. Do we have to add Bridget to the agenda?
I have it.
Lorraine, you already added that? So we're good to start voting?
Yes.
Anybody in the public have anything else before I end public participation? Okay, number 2 on the agenda.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to accept council meeting minutes from December 2nd, 2024, to accept the treasurer's report for November 2024, to accept the fire chief's report for November and December 2024, to accept the inspection department report for November and December 2024, to accept the police report for November and December 2024, to accept the public works department report for December 2024, to accept the harbor report for December 2024, to accept the engineer report for January 2025.
Second by Mrs. Figueroa. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 3.
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize Vice Chairman Betty Rodriguez and Borough Secretary Joseph Larissy to sign contracts with the Bucks County Redevelopment Authority to accept funding for the following projects. Bristol Borough streetlight improvements for public safety, $500,000. Bristol Borough security cameras and license plate recognition camera system, $113,814. Bristol Borough Police Department vehicle acquisition, $145,463. Bristol Borough Public Works pickup truck, $69,023. And Bucks County Rescue Squad ambulance, $196,499.
Second by Mr. Catroci. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And again, before we vote, I'd just like to thank the Bucks County Redevelopment Authority for their generosity to Bristol Borough.
That's over $1,024,000. So that's fantastic to the borough.
You ready? Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to authorize Harrison Acoustics to proceed with the sound study for the Trenton Avenue Sound Barrier Project in the amount of $7,500 per proposal dated May 13th, 2024.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. Questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 5.
Mr. President, I'd like to accept the retirement letter from Bridget Cullen.
Second by Ms. Rodriguez. Questions or comments?
Yeah, I have a comment. I just want everybody to know too that I think Bridget started a couple years after I got in here. And at one time we were even related. Our kids were married.
You still are.
And we still related. You're absolutely right because we have a grandson together. But I just want to say that she's been an asset and a pleasure to have on staff, and I wish her all the luck in the world.
Well, she was a neighbor of mine.
Yeah.
I'm the one that went and get her out of First Federal Bank and brought her to the borough. And who would have thought 20 years later she'd still be here, but she was a great employee. The borough was very honored to have her
Yep.
and lucky, so I wish her well in her retirement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Anybody have anything to have? Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion to
By
adjourn.
Betty, second by Mrs. Figueroa. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Congratulations.